Well, I think we can go and get started here. Scotty, you ready?
Go do some shipping updates first and then go through all the questions that were posted in Slack already and then take it from there.
Let's do it.
Can we mute everyone? Can we mute everyone for the sec?
Yep.
Can you handle that while I give a little ship? So, shipping right now, prices are coming down. The latest I heard, I think, was like $11 per kilogram. Yeah, $11.52 per kilogram. It's the bulk shipping rate that I just got out of China. That's for air shipping, obviously. So the way shipping rates work is it's a per kilogram. I think it's mostly based on weight. Sometimes it's a combination of weight and also volume of the package. But it's all basically, if 1 kilogram gets cheaper, then your little shipments are also going to get cheaper as well. So we should start to see shipping costs come down. I think there's probably going to be a bit of a delay before Ali vendors adjust their shipping prices, simply because they're charging you one rate for shipping and paying a lower rate. Obviously, that's some extra profit in their pocket. And so I think it's probably going to take a few days to a week at least before Ali vendors start to adjust their shipping prices. But if you're working with an agent already, then you should definitely ask them to get lower rates on your shipping because they are starting to come down. But more so than just the rate cut right now, it's sort of the break of the trend, because shipping costs have just been going up and up and up pretty much since January, which is damn long time for shipping rates to just be like week after week it's been going up. This is the first time it's gone down in forever. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come. I've heard some good news in terms of some good news that suggests that this could be a long-term trend, that shipping rates are going to come down and return to normal here pretty soon. Just kind of have to wait and see. And if you are working with a fulfillment agent, make sure that you get new rates, that they pass the savings on to you. And if you're working with an Ali supplier, you're shipping regularly, I would also hit them up, say like, hey, rates are dropping. I want to get some of those savings. So basically just like flat out ask them for it, especially if you're doing orders already. If you haven't placed an order yet with a vendor, you don't really have much to negotiate with. But if you've got history with a supplier, they probably will reduce the price on your shipping a bit, since their cost should be going down too. You got anything to add to that, Schmitty?
Not really. I think that was about it. It seems like things are getting back to not normal, but heading back that way. It's super interesting. I just put a link in the chat, this video from this guy named Wendover Productions. He makes really good YouTube videos, basically about air cargo. And I didn't realize the extent of this until recently, but I want to say, I think he says this in the video, like something like 40% of the world's cargo is shipped on passenger planes. It's not actually on cargo planes, it's on passenger planes. So now that there's no passenger planes, or there's very little, that was why shipping was much more expensive. But airlines are kind of finding ways around it, and because jet fuel prices are much lower, they're able to, still operate planes profitably, like passenger planes, even with no passengers. So that's pretty interesting. I think it's good to just kind of be aware and kind of understand how all this stuff works, because obviously it doesn't affect us. I mean, it does affect us, but we don't really see it, and you wouldn't really know about it. But it's such like an integral part of our business. I think it's a good thing to understand and to be kind of aware of. It's very interesting to me. So if you guys want to watch that after this, I put that link in there.
Cool. So cool. The way this is going to go,
well, go ahead and get
got a few less people.
Scott, are you going to copy and paste these?
Can do. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to take the questions from Slack first, and then any questions that you guys have, just start putting them in the chat now, and we'll go through them in chronological order afterwards.
And then whenever y'all are, we're going over one of your questions, you can unmute yourself or I can unmute you, and we can make sure that we're answering the question to, to what you were looking for. All right, so first question is from Rody, I believe. Is that right? Yeah. Rody said, is it normal to launch interests and the ones that work well in the beginning to die within 2 to 3 weeks? I haven't got an ad set that lasted more than that. Is this a bad thing? Also, is it okay to edit the budget of an existing ad set, or are there high chances for it to flop? And if it does, what to do then? All right, so we got a few questions to tackle there. Scotty, I'm gonna let you get that first part.
Yeah, so an ad set that works once isn't going to work forever. That's kind of the nature of it. You launch it, it works great, and then it dies off. That is 100% normal. You're not doing anything wrong. Completely normal. What basically the next step is, shut that off if performance dips. Generally, I say if performance dips for 3 days or more. So if you're looking at the data of like 3 full days, and it's break even or worse, I shut it off. That's sort of the general rule. You shut it off, and then you can relaunch with a new creative later on. So new copy, new content, just relaunch with new ads, and most of the time, or a lot of the time, that's just going to work again. But it's not going to work forever. It's going to work for a few weeks, and then it dies down again. And technically, you don't even have to put new ads in there. If you shut that off for 5 days and then relaunch the exact same thing, oftentimes it'll start working again. But I like to use that to test new ads as well, so that you keep rotating new ads in. Yeah, I mean, any ad set, whether interests or lookalike, it's not going to work forever. It's going to work and then not work. And when it stops working, you turn it off. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Not a bad thing at all. That's completely normal.
I agree. And I think like a reason that happens, if it's happening a lot to you, like I think it's totally normal for that to happen generally, but if it's happening a lot, then I think that could be an issue of not testing enough creatives. Especially once you kind of get to the point where you're doing consistent volume, maybe you're doing like $1,000 or $2,000 in revenue a day. You tend to get a little bit complacent with the creatives that you're running, and you kind of are of the mindset of like, well, this is working really well. I don't want to mess with it. And, basically I'm not trying to fix what ain't broken. But at the same time, you still have to be launching new creatives constantly, and testing new things, and just constantly, like the way I think about it is I'm just constantly trying to beat myself. It's like, you in direct response, you have like the concept of the control, which is like the best performing ad. You should be constantly trying to beat your own control. And I think that if a lot of your ad sets are dying, it might be because you're not testing enough creative. So there's that there. Then she also asked, is it okay to edit the budget of an existing ad set? Or are there high chances for it to flop? Yeah, so I think it's totally okay to edit the budget of an existing ad set. If you're, scaling vertically, I guess is what that would be. Generally though, I only really edit the budgets of existing ad sets when they're performing really, really well. If they're not performing that well and I'm trying to scale, then I'm probably not going to increase the budget, because what tends to happen when you increase the budget is your results tend to drop a little bit in terms of like your ROAS. So if I have an ad set that's doing like a 5 ROAS, then I have no problem increasing the budget of that, because if it's at a 5 ROAS, I increase the budget, the ROAS goes down a little bit. That's not a big deal. That's kind of how I think about that. I mean, I do both when it comes to like, scaling both vertically and horizontally. I raise the budgets of my ad sets sometimes, and I duplicate those ad sets and test new things in those ad sets sometimes. So it's, I definitely do both. And then if it flops, I guess you edit so the situation is you increase the budget and then it flops. Usually just scale it back down to what it was at when it was working well. That's usually what I do. What do you think, Scott, man?
Agree with everything you said. I'd add one other thing is, when I was talking before about relaunching the same ad set, you can relaunch it at a higher budget. Like if an audience always works well for you, there's no reason to launch that at $10 a day. Launch it at 20 if you're confident. Like if all your stuff at $20 is working, start launching stuff at $50 a day. And that's honestly like the easiest way to scale, in my opinion. Trying to take a $10 ad set and scaling it up consistently to $20 or $30, $50, $100, it doesn't really happen in my experience. What happens is you launch, it works well, then it dies down, you shut it off, you launch something new, and because you're confident it's going to work, because it's worked really well in the past, you can go right ahead and launch at a higher budget. You don't need to start back over at $10 a day on the same ad set again. That's a super easy way to like scale up without having to sort of micromanage ad set budgets, which is just like taking a $10 a day to $12 or to $15 a day budget just doesn't do much, you know? So I prefer to just start launching at higher budgets when you're confident.
All right, Rody, how does that answer your questions there?
Yeah, I think answers it. I just have like an ad set that performs well. How long like does it last like for you?
I don't even know, honestly, because it doesn't matter. Yeah. When it stops performing well is when you turn it off.
Okay.
You know, if you say like my ad sets do great for 2 days and then they don't work anymore, that's a different problem. If they only work well for 2 days, they don't really work well. That's kind of like beginner's luck. But if you're saying they're working for 2 to 3 weeks, that's entirely normal.
Okay. I also like launched new ad set with 15 or 20 or 25, and they didn't work as well as the 10 one. So I don't know what that does mean exactly. Should I just stick to the 10 pound ad set?
So you went from £10 ad set to 15 and it didn't work?
Yeah. So yeah, I tried like several times to new with 15 or 20 and they didn't really work like as well as the 10 pound one. So I kind of went back to the 10.
Well, that's the thing. Did they not work as well, or did they not work at all? Because performance is not going to be as crazy. Because you're seeing like a 4 ROAS and things at low budgets, that you're not going to have the same results at the higher spend. So the question is, what gives you the higher profit?
Okay, so if the 10 pound,
if you make more profit at a 3 ROAS, you know?
Yeah. But if I don't have like better profit when I spend more, should I keep it this way or should I just keep it in a low budget?
Do whatever gets you the most profit in terms of media buying, and then work on getting better ads so that you can scale up. Because better ads, better website, better marketing is going to allow you to scale up, not doing some magic trick on Facebook.
Okay, so you say like try new ads with the audience that work, but with higher budgets.
Yeah, or if higher budget doesn't work, then stick to lower budgets and test ads over time with a lower budget.
Okay. Cool.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think
All right.
Cool. Yo, Nate, can you unmute Jason? You might want to jump in and add something at some point.
Jason, you have, oh yeah, I clicked it. I don't know, I think he might be muted on purpose.
Gotcha. All right, I posted the next question from Isaac.
Isaac wants to know how to set up your Facebook pixel to track events on your website and Facebook ads. For some reason, mine is only tracking link clicks, impressions, and reach, but not purchases. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, you just sent me a screenshot.
Yeah, the pixel is definitely working, but those basic metrics that I just messaged you about aren't being tracked, and I feel like I must have skipped something or am missing something, because I've been making sales and, you know, things have been happening as it should be. But I mean, I noticed that when I went back and looked at the dash.
How many sales have you made?
Have you like changed your ad account or anything?
Yeah, so when my ad account is kind of messed up. After the call last week, I went back around and made sure I'd had multiple ad accounts just with other stores. So I went back and made sure that this pixel was only for this, you know, this store and page, and I got that all squared away. But as I said, it's not tracking those basic metrics. I've made 10 sales.
It's not tracking any of them.
I mean, to me, it sounds like you might have a different pixel set up in your ad account and on your
It
website.
does sound like that.
Okay, because that was one of the main things I checked for, and I went just through like the preferences on Shopify, and it had the same pixel ID. But there's clearly something wrong.
Do you have the Facebook Pixel Helper extension?
I do.
And
Is the
it shows
pixel
up
number there? Is the pixel number on Pixel Helper the same one that you've selected in the ad manager?
I haven't actually used the Pixel Helper. I just had it downloaded. I actually got it this weekend. I saw it on YouTube through someone else, but I can use that and go try to fix it. I just pulled it up on my Chrome right now.
Gotcha. I agree with Nate. It sounds like the number of the pixel that you have in Shopify is not the same as the one that you're running ads from. That's the most likely issue, I think. Because you definitely have a pixel on here. I just checked.
Yeah. Okay, so should I just go back? You can kind of nix what I have and then reset everything up, or
go into your ads manager and go into the ad set. Edit the ad set and look at the pixel that is selected there.
Okay.
Okay. Isaac, if that doesn't work, just hit us up on Slack, and we'll try to get that fixed for you, because that's just a technical thing. We should be able to figure that out pretty easily.
Yeah. I realized it was time to say something, but yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll just message Scott. Thanks a bunch.
For sure.
Sounds good.
You can try the Perfect Pixel app, but remember to remove the pixel from Shopify to not track event twice. I've never heard of that. Fabian said, what theme are you using? I found some themes don't track all options for Brooklyn. I've always had to track add to cart manually. Yeah, I think that's because of the way that you have your cart set up. So if you have like a cart drawer that comes out, instead of going straight to the cart page whenever they add to cart, then it's not always going to track the add to cart. So I just go and I remove that option and just have it go straight to the cart page whenever someone adds the cart, and that fixes it. All right. Aldi says, if your Facebook account gets restricted and to request a review, Facebook requires you to verify your legal business name and info. You need to have a registered company /LLC in order to unlock the account. If I don't have an LLC, it's the best option to try to open a new Facebook business account. So this is an issue that was very rare to happen up until recently, it seems. I've never really had that. I don't think I've ever had that happen where Facebook required me to enter my business info. But I think if that does happen, if possible, I'm not 100% sure if you could do this, but if possible, I'm wondering if you could just put in the information as a sole proprietorship. So that way you don't actually have an LLC, but you still have, your sole proprietorship, I guess. If that works, then that should be fine. Then aside from that, you'd either have to make an LLC or try to get a new business manager going. An LLC, I mean, it's really like, it's kind of up to you what you want to do. An LLC is like, it'll cost you a couple $100 to incorporate. You can use a service like, this is the one that I usually use. It's like a couple $100, and I think that if you're very serious about this, then it'll probably be worth it to do this, because, you know, aside from losing a couple $100, like if you're actually going to start a business and do this seriously, then like you're going to need to do that anyway. But yeah, I think that's really about all you can do, is either make an LLC, see if you can do it with the sole proprietorship first, and if that works, and if not, either make an LLC or get a new business manager.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. I actually have an LLC. The name of my LLC doesn't match my Facebook store name. So I guess I'm going through the process of getting a doing business as name.
Yeah.
And that can take anywhere from like 2 weeks. So I'm just kind of at a standstill right now. So just seeing like what options I have, and like kind of wanted to see like how common that was for Facebook to ask for a business review of legal documents and stuff. So that's helpful.
It's becoming more common with both Facebook and Shopify, I've noticed, especially if you're selling anything like that could be perceived as Corona related. They're asking for a lot of info. But I mean, in the meantime, if you're at a standstill now and you're kind of just waiting on that DBA, then I would probably just see if you could get another business manager from like a friend or a family member, and see if you can just get access to their Facebook account. I've done that like I don't know how many times, like a lot of times. I'm running ads on like my mom's business manager, on one of my buddy's business managers. So that's kind of like the way that I see it, is when shit like this happens, like you just kind of gotta find another way around it, and that's usually the easiest way in my experience, is just to get a new business manager.
Okay, that makes sense. And that would require like new store name, like new ads, all new everything, or no?
No, I mean, you don't need a new store name. You don't need to change the URL. You just basically have to just reset up the ads in the pixel and in the new business manager.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I think I may go over that route then.
Yeah, and you could even, if you wanted to, you could share your existing pixel over to your new business manager, as long as your advertising access isn't restricted, which it doesn't sound like it is. So yeah, I mean, that's probably your best bet.
Okay, cool. Makes sense.
Cool.
We got a question about shipping.
What should I do with the whole shipping thing in China? I contacted a few agents, and they gave some over-the-top price for my product, even higher than the price I'm supposed to be selling it at. It sounds like to be shipped within 2 to 3 weeks. AliExpress right now is 60 days and such. This kind of stops me from launching my product. Should I still just go ahead and do it through AliExpress with such long shipping time? All right, let me absorb that in my brain again.
What should you do for shipping? So I think if you haven't started yet, best thing to do is just going to be to start, because if you're not getting sales, then it's not going to matter. That's kind of the thing. And like, I'd rather get something working and deal with a couple of shipping issues in the next few weeks, rather than waste the next 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks where ads are doing really well. Facebook performance is great. I wouldn't want to waste that time waiting for shipping to improve. And I think shipping will improve here shortly. Things are starting to open back up. So if you're not selling yet, I wouldn't worry too much about shipping. You're not going to get a good price from an agent if you're not already doing volume. That's just kind of the way it goes. Agents aren't for when you're getting started. Agents are for when you're already selling successfully and you want faster processing times and more reliability compared to an AliExpress vendor. That's really what agents are for. Agents aren't going to get you a cheaper price and faster shipping. In most cases, it can happen, but not usually.
Especially not if you're not doing any sort of volume. There's no incentive for them to. Another thing you can do is look on eBay. We've been saying that for like the past like month or two. A lot of products are on eBay, and a lot of them are very reasonably priced and have fairly fast shipping. So if this is a problem that you're facing, I would definitely check on eBay to see if you can source your product from there.
So yeah, do it through AliExpress in the meantime if you're just launching, and hopefully those shipping times will come down. I'm still unsure whether actually 60 days is the actual shipping time. I just don't believe that to be true, but that's what it says everywhere, so I guess it could be true. But like the actual shipping time is going to be nowhere near 60 days. So if it's taking 60 days, it's because they aren't shipping product out quickly.
Grant just asked a very good question. This is actually a question my mom asked me last night. Basically, Grant's running some stuff off of his mom's business manager, her personal account or whatever, and she's getting notifications to her personal Facebook account. Is there any way to stop the notifications coming in on her personal account? I'm not entirely sure. My mom literally asked me this last night because, as I just said, I'm running ads on my mom's Facebook account, and she's getting all these notifications. Like she got she got the notification for Row about it, the page score being below 2, and she was like worried about that and asking me about it. And I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to stop the notifications from coming. I'm gonna look into it. But I'm not entirely confident that there is.
Probably is, honestly. I would assume it's in your notification settings. I'm just having a look right now.
Okay, well, Scotty has to look at that. We can move on to the next question here if I can find it. Victor says, I'm just about to get my ads up and running, and I'm going to follow exactly what you say, but I'm just curious what the reasoning behind choosing automatic placements for the ads. Why not just Facebook and IG feed? Good question. I mean, it's basically just because Facebook is better at knowing where to put your ads than you are. Most of the time you're when you do automatic placements, most of the time your ads are still mostly going to show up on Facebook feed, Instagram feed, maybe Instagram story a little bit. But as much as possible, you really just want to leave the optimization up to Facebook, because the more stuff you leave up to Facebook, the better it's going to be able to optimize. And by kind of giving Facebook the power to decide where to show your ads, then Facebook might be able to show your ads on a Messenger placement. And maybe you're not getting a shit ton of sales from Messenger or any other random placement, but maybe you're getting way, way, way lower cost per purchases there than other placements. And if you didn't do automatic placements, then you would never get that. So that's kind of the main reason. I used to do just Facebook and IG feed and IG story, but now I just do automatic placements just to let Facebook further optimize.
In terms of those notifications, I think if you go to the link I just sent, it's on the personal Facebook, so like settings, and then there's the notifications tab. I think if you turn off notifications from pages that you follow, that should do it. But I'm not entirely sure because I can't really test it right now.
Word. All right. Victor, did that answer your question, bro?
Yes, that helped. Awesome. Thank you.
Fantastic. You're very welcome. All right. And then Nick just put in here, should I use Shopify payments or should I switch to Stripe or something? Let's get to that in a second. Let's get through this last question that we had here in the Slack from Yaya. When running cold interest and lookalike, is 2% CTR all in 1% and 1.6% unique content view towards. Is that good enough? I'm a little confused with that here. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh no, you're already unmuted. Yeah, can you explain a little bit what you mean by that?
I'm getting 2% CTR now and 1.6 unique content view. 1.6%. Is that good enough, like for the ads when you are running cold interest and lookalikes?
Overall, yeah, probably. There's a lot of factors that can go into it. But like generally, like, yeah, like I wouldn't see those numbers and be like, no, it's not going to work. When I'm looking at those kinds of numbers though, usually what I'm looking at is unique link click-through rate instead of just click-through rate all, because that's like, I feel like that's the most accurate CTR metric. But I mean, generally speaking, like you have to look at CTR in terms of your CPM, which brings you to cost per click. because your CTR is one thing, but if Facebook is sending you really high quality traffic, then your CTR might be lower. If Facebook is sending you really low quality traffic, then your CTR might be very high. So you have to kind of look at it in terms of your CPM and look at your cost per click. And I think that's kind of the more telling metric, if that makes sense.
On average, my CPM is around $18, and my unique content view cost is around $1.
Yeah, so I would say that's definitely pretty high. It can work. I don't really look at unique, like cost per unique content view. Usually what I look at is just cost per click. Those numbers should be pretty similar though. So I would say like over $1 cost per click is going to be tough to be profitable with, because that's, I mean, you're paying $1 just for someone to click to your website. That's a lot of money. Closer to 50 cents is kind of where you want to be. Obviously the lower the better. If you can get that down to, like 10 cents, then that's going to be better than 50 cents. But I'd say like a ballpark range is like, if your cost per click is like around 50 cents, that's like a really good sign, I would say.
So going back to the ads and try with other angles to reduce the cost per click before optimizing.
Say it again.
So I should go back to the ads and try to try with new angles to reduce the content view cost.
Yeah, I would say
50 cents.
to make more people click your ads. More engaging creatives, more kind of like curiosity driven copy. And just overall, I mean, like, it's kind of like just like generic advice, but basically just be constantly working to make better ads. And that's really how you get that down.
Not.
But honestly, that would be the same advice regardless of what your metrics are. Like, make better ads so that you can get better click-through rate is always going to be the advice. Like, that's always going to work. If you get more clicks for the same ad spend and it's the same quality traffic, you're going to make more money. That's like, doesn't matter if you're doing 100K a month or $0 a month. That's always going to be good advice. Like, that's one of those things. It's not like, okay, I have these metrics, I need to fix this, and then I'm done. Like, it is constant. You're always trying to make better ads.
Absolutely.
Noted.
Cool. All right, well, let's go to Nick. Asked, should I use Shopify payments or should I switch to Stripe or something? Nick, can you give us a little bit of background? What country are you in, and kind of what's been going on with your payments and stuff?
So I'm in Vietnam right now, but I register the business, or not register, but I declare everything in the U.S. because I live there as well. I don't know, maybe I could do something else to maybe avoid the tax in the US. I don't know for now, but this is my first store, so I want to make it like, as easy as possible. I just heard like from somewhere that, Shopify, the way they hold on to your payout, maybe sometimes it gives you a lot of inconvenience. I don't know. I don't remember that, so just want to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's really going to be the case with just about every payment processor. Some are worse than others, but like the main ones that you're going to be using are going to be either Shopify payments, Stripe, and PayPal. All of those have requirements. They all are going to request information from you, and there's a good chance that at least one of them is going to hold money. That's just the reality of things, and you kind of just got to, be able to go along with that. Personally, though, if you're like, you're in the US, or not physically, but like your business is incorporated in the US, your Shopify account is US based, you're doing things in USD, then I think Shopify payments should be fine. Just be prepared for them to hold your payments, and just when they ask for information, just submit it to them as fast as you can. And usually the Shopify holds are pretty easy. As long as you can provide the information, they don't usually hold on to your stuff for very long. So that's probably
that's fine.
It's a good idea to have multiple payment processors, set up, even if you're not using, say, Stripe. It wouldn't be a bad idea to set up Stripe and have that ready to go in case you did have an issue with Shopify payments.
So the transaction fee won't be like much of different between different vendors, right?
Say again?
The transaction fee that they charge.
Is there a difference?
Yeah.
Like minute differences, I think, but like not enough to really matter.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing is that Shopify payments, you're going to save on. So if you have Stripe, Shopify is going to charge you 1% or something, depending on which plan you have. If you use Stripe and PayPal, whereas payments through Shopify payments, you don't get that 1%. So the actual
really?
payment processing fee is about the same on Shopify payments versus Stripe, I believe. There's like small differences at most.
Yeah, I think it's like 2.5% or something.
Yeah, but then if you
Oh,
don't have that Shopify charge on top, then you save some money there.
that's great to hear. Yeah. That answers the question. Just like one quick thing is like, when in checkout or maybe it's in the cart, I don't remember, but it displays the checkout button and then also like a lot of other buttons, like, Google Pay, like PayPal and other stuff. Is it a good idea to just like disable those buttons and focus just on one checkout button? Do you think so?
No, I think those are like super fast checkout options. PayPal, I would definitely have on there.
Yeah, I would have PayPal.
Oh.
I'd rather not have like on the cart page have like checkout and then have Google Pay, Amazon Pay, Apple Pay. Like I would prefer not to have all those on there.
Yeah, they show like 4 kind of like buttons for checkout. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, because it can get a little confusing, and people are like, well, I don't know which button to click. So you want to make it very clear, which button they should click. So
Do you
yeah,
know off the top of your head how to disable specific options from there? How to disable, like not even disable Google Pay, but how to not show Google Pay on the first page of the checkout?
As far as I know,
Yeah.
the only way to do that is to just disable them, aside from having it custom coded out.
Yeah, the code is pretty easy. It's just like, if you just like comment it out, it's very easy. Yeah.
Well, if we got a
I
coding
think it's in the
wizard,
cart.
I would say go for it.
Oh yeah, I think it's in the cart. Yeah, the cart. So the checkout button there, and then like a whole bunch of other checkout buttons, like fast checkout buttons. I think it's like too busy.
I don't mind having them on the checkout page. I just don't like having them on the cart page.
Yeah, I'm talking about like, those buttons are placed on the cart page. So I think it's kind of easy.
Gotcha.
Cool. Yeah, thanks.
Sure. All right, Isaac put in here, improving page load time, ? Jason sent me to GT metric and that was a bit over my head. Yeah, some of those are confusing. If you just look up page load speed test, there's a couple that come up. There's like Pingdom, Google has one. Do a couple of those for your product page and see what the load time is. Generally, you want your page speed, like load time, to be less than 2 seconds. If it's less than 2 seconds, then like you're fucking straight. You don't really need to mess with anything. If it's over 2 seconds, depending on how bad it is, like there's little things you can do yourself to improve it, like changing like actually, I don't know if you can do this in Shopify. I know you can in Shogun. In Shopify, you might be able to switch your pictures and stuff to WebP formats. And then if you have like a bunch of GIFs, you can optimize your GIFs to be a smaller file size, and that'll help. There's also like different apps. You can get like Lazy Load. I think I have that on one of the stores. It's like Lazy Load something. I can check that out and get back to you on that. But aside from that, if your website load speed just like super shitty, if it's above like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 seconds, then I would just go on to like Fiverr or Upwork or something. I actually think in the resources chat, I might have posted the contact info for this one guy. I'm not sure if he's still doing that or not. I posted it like 2 weeks ago for Trevin and for, I think it was Nick. Yeah. So there's an email in the resources channel of Slack, and you can shoot that guy an email. I'm not sure if he'll reply, but he does he's done website speed optimization stuff for me before. But if he doesn't respond, then I would just go on Fiverr or Upwork and find someone who can do that. It should be pretty cheap. Just look up like Shopify page load speed optimization or something. Isaac, does that make sense, bro?
Yeah. I just saw they were suggesting that I like tweak my JavaScript and other stuff, and I was like, okay, this isn't like my page doesn't even get that much traffic. This isn't that important, but
Yeah, I mean, check your speed. Unless you have a shit ton of stuff on your page, the load speed should be like pretty fine. If you have any apps that you're not using on your store, delete those apps, because apps can slow down your page load speed. But other than that, I doubt that your load speed's like super, super bad to the point where you need to hire someone yet.
Yeah, not at all. I had pretty good scores across the board. So yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, is that all the questions that we had in Slack? I think it is.
Yep.
All right, so Nick just put in here, I'm about to start my first product, t-shirts for programmers, and we'll focus on their pride and passion and stuff. But one concern is with COVID situation, people won't go to work or to meetups or something anymore to actually get compliments, core reactions, et cetera, from other fellow coders. Is that a big concern at this time? Okay, so I think I see what you're saying. Like basically the product is going to be kind of around coders showing off their passion, it sounds like. I think it could be a concern. Show off at Zoom meetings. Hey, Sergio, that's not a bad point. That's honestly very true. And I feel like, I don't know, with that kind of a specific thing, like it's not super dependent on trying to like show it off to other people. Like, I feel like those types of people aren't quite as concerned with their status and, you know, all that kind of stuff as other people. I feel like a lot of people might just buy it because they think it's a cool shirt and it just kind of resonates with them.
And also people sitting at home, working from home, as pretty much all coders probably are. They don't have to wear a dress shirt to go to work. They can wear whatever the hell they want. They can wear their funny t-shirt or their cool t-shirt or whatever you're selling. Like I think there's more opportunity than risk at the moment in your specific niche. Like that would get me excited to sell your product because there's so many options. There's a Zoom angle, there's the work from home angle, there's the wear whatever you want angle, there's the be comfortable work. Yeah, like there's just so much you can do. I think there's more opportunities than problems with that related to COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought of like so cool angles around like, you know, getting confidence and reactions from people, and you can really show your passion and spread the love, you know, for coding and such. I guess that kind of market angle, it's not really work at this kind of situation, right? And like you said, maybe just like find other angles that you know, we could use in the COVID situation, like work from home or like Zoom.
Dude, I think that's a good angle. I think I could see an ad copy that's like, be the envy of your fellow programmers on the next Zoom call or something like that.
Oh, well.
I think the main thing is to not have ad copy or content that is clearly not relevant right now. Like don't, like whatever you're selling, don't have content that shows people in large groups outside. Just don't have that right now. Like don't have an image of a bunch of programmers at a conference. That just doesn't make sense right now. But other than that, I think you should be fine. Like just don't do stuff that isn't possible right now.
Right.
Don't show that in your ads.
It's just like, you know, I could really use some good angles, you know, out of those kind of situations. And now I think I need to switch up a little bit while waiting for the situation to ease up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, again, I mean, this whole thing just presents a lot of opportunities. You know, when all this started happening, you could just throw at home in your ad copy and see a huge boost in results. Like, it's nuts. I think you just got to tailor things to what's going on right now. And if you can do that, then, yeah, are there like inconveniences and things that you were kind of originally planning on doing that might not work? Yeah. But that's kind of the nature of this game. You got to be able to adapt and pivot to changing market conditions. And those that do are the ones that win.
Yeah, of course. Yes, thanks, guys.
Yeah. All right. Isaac said, how do I send customers their tracking numbers, i.e. I don't want to send them a number which shows them it's coming from China and will be 15 days until it arrives, or rather what's the best way to handle it? As I understand, it's important to keep my customers updated. Yeah, that's a good question. And I don't think that I have a one size fits all, this is the solution to it. I mean, usually what I do is I just have the tracking uploaded, through Oberlo, and then it gets sent to them via email, and it's, on 17 track, it says that it's coming from China. And, you just, you handle those customer service inquiries as they come in. And, yeah, I think that's really the best way to do it, honestly.
I've had another question I've seen on Slack a few times. People ask me, what should I say if a customer asks me where this is coming from? And like, honestly, I would just say China. Like, if you're shipping from China, say it's coming from China. Like, that's the sort of thing where people aren't as bothered by shipping from China as you would think. People are bothered by companies that don't respond when they're unsure of whether they got scammed. People want to be sure that they haven't been scammed. That's the main thing. If you show that you're legit, you exist, you answer emails, you're going to make sure that they get their product. And worst case, if it doesn't get there, you reship it. If you assure people that you're real, that you're not some Russian scammer, basically, then people aren't all that upset about it coming from China.
Yeah. And I mean, you will have people that are upset about it, and, it is what it is. You can refund them and move on.
It's way worse to have no tracking. Like, if tracking doesn't upload for like 5 days because AliExpress processing time is slow, that is a bigger problem than it coming from China. That's kind of why the agents are big. Like, if your AliExpress supplier is taking like 3, 4, 5 days to ship, then a customer places an order today and he asks you in 3 days for a tracking number and you don't have it yet because your supplier hasn't shipped yet, that's a real problem. In fact, as soon as you have a tracking number, and as long as the tracking number works as well, usually you're fine, unless there's like massive delays or something crazy. But like, if you have tracking numbers and they're updating, then customers are usually understanding of that. The real problem is when you don't have a tracking number. That's what you really have to watch out for. You really need to make sure that you're getting your tracking numbers quickly from suppliers and that they're shipping products quickly. That's a much bigger problem in my experience.
And then Rody and Chin said that there's apps you can use in Shopify that customers can use to track their order, and it doesn't show where the package is coming from. Chin says Tractor might be an option to look into. I think I've used Trackify before, Tracker. But yeah, I mean, basically what Scotty said, I don't really have much to add to that. All right, so I think we've gone through all the questions that you guys wrote in written form. Now I think what we can do is, if you have a question, just unmute yourself and ask the question. And we'll just do it like that until we've answered all y'all's questions. And yeah.
Can people unmute themselves, or do you have to unmute them?
They can unmute themselves. Yeah, I have it checked. Allow participants to unmute themselves.
Cool.
All right, so I have a question. I'm just kind of like not sure what I should do about my campaigns, because I messaged you guys a couple days ago, and I turned one of the campaigns off. I had 3 running. I turned one of them off. The other 2 are still running, and I'm still getting multiple purchases every day. But my CPC is over $1 for both of them. But I have.
Are you profitable?
Yeah, barely.
Okay.
But I haven't been getting as many purchases the past, like, well, I mean, it's still morning right now, so
yeah, don't like look at your results on a day-to-day basis because they're gonna fluctuate. Today might be shit. Yesterday might have been great. The day after tomorrow might be fantastic. It goes up and down. You kind of have to look at it on a bit of a longer time span than just one day because results fluctuate day to day.
Okay. But then
Make
my
better
average.
ads. Make better ads is your answer.
Okay. Like, because I have a video ad running right now, so just make a better video ad.
Yep. How can you capture attention better? How can you show your product better? How can you make people want your product more?
Okay.
How can you improve your offer? How can you make your offer better and more irresistible so people want to buy it?
Okay.
What you can do is, I mean, you can just mess with the existing video ad you have and just kind of make different variations of the first like 3 to 5 seconds, like, you know, the hook or the scroll stop or whatever you want to call it. That's probably not going to be a huge increase in results. But at this point, I mean, you're kind of at a point, it sounds like, where you don't need a huge increase in results. You need incremental increases in results. And, you know, if you can get those, then you're going to go from barely profitable to somewhat profitable, and then from somewhat profitable to, you know, pretty profitable, really profitable, etc.
Okay. And then like on one of the campaigns, like I have an average ROAS at 2.2 or 2.3, but the other one's at 0.9, but it's still getting purchases.
I would cut off after an ad set has been running for like 3 days or so. If it's below break even, I would cut it off, and then I would replace it with a new test. If it's above break even, but like barely so, keep it running. If it's very profitable, then you can scale it a little bit vertically. You can duplicate it and test new creatives. Yeah, that's kind of how I do things.
Okay. So you think I should shut off the one that's at 0.9 ROAS?
I mean,
this is like what's the?
Are there ad sets in that campaign that are at like a 2 ROAS? Because you kind of have to do it by the individual ad set. It's very difficult to just kind of do it overall.
Yeah, there's one of them's at 2.6 and all the other ones are at like 1.8 and then below 1.
Yeah, so like definitely cut the ones that are below 1. If those have been running for more than 3 days and they're below 1, then definitely cut those. And then I think it's kind of a game time decision on like the 1.8s. 1.8s are probably going to be like just about break even to a little bit profitable. So those could kind of go either way depending on the results that you're getting in your other ad sets.
And then obviously keep the 2.6.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think that's really it for me.
Cool. Keep it up, bro.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Sergio?
How are you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. How about you?
Doing well as well. I'm kind of stuck in a problem. I already spoke to Ryan after testing my first product. It didn't work out pretty well. I mean, I guess offer could not be compelling enough, or something about the product maybe didn't work out. But he told me to go after another product and try to find out what else I could sell. And doing the research, I found like mostly 2 products that are working out at the moment for competitors in the niche. One of them has been working out for like the past 4 months, and there's like 2 main competitors. One that's doing really good in terms of branding and the custom content. And the other one was doing that as well, but kind of fucked up in the customer service, like in a couple weeks, I guess, from what I saw. But the product is known by that, like YouTube videos, lots of them like referring to the product itself by the name of that brand. And the other product is not doing, I mean, there's not much competition, but not really easy to find content at all to advertise it. Should I just keep trying to find out something else, or not sure, trying to get in on that with less content?
I wouldn't like spend a shit ton of time trying to figure out what the next product is that you should sell. Like obviously you want to do research and you want it to be an informed decision, but you also don't want it to take a week, because ultimately if you're not running ads, you're not really making real progress. You need to be running ads. So I would probably just pick whichever one you think is best, based off of all the research you've done, what you intuitively think is going to be the better option. Do everything you can, build all your marketing to the best of your ability, and launch it and let it run, see what happens.
Okay, gonna do that then. Thanks.
Personally, if I can add something to that, you said one product, two competitors basically dominate it, and another product is sort of
Dominated by
untapped.
one.
Dominated by one. So the other one is kind of untapped, but there isn't much content. You don't need much content. If you can get one or two good ads and it works, make your own content. As long as you have like basic good product pictures plus like one or two images and or videos, depending on product niche, etc. Some products just are going to be more suited towards video ads. Others are going to be more suited towards image ads. If you can just get one good ad out of the content that exists to test that product, I would try it. Like you don't need a ton of good content. You just need some.
Okay. The way I thought was I'm going to try and figure out if I can maybe use or find a way to use a bit of the content from the other, or at least I've been trying to find where he got the content from, but I'm pretty sure it was custom. But I'm going to try and figure out how to get the content without the logos on it to like test it out.
Gotcha.
Okay, thanks.
Sure thing.
Who else has got some questions? Nick put in, should we still use Hurify now? I think it looks kind of scammy now that so many people use it. Any better urgency trigger? Yeah, I think it kind of depends on what you're doing. I don't use Hurify very much anymore. I think it can make sense in specific situations, but other than that, like I do agree. I think it's kind of like people kind of understand now that it's not real. Any better urgency trigger? There's honestly like a lot of different ways that you can do that. Something that I thought is pretty interesting. There are apps that kind of like give you the like kind of Amazon-esque urgency, where it's like order in the next however much time to get it by this date. That's definitely a little bit tough when you're drop shipping and your shipping times tend to be kind of all over the place. But I think that could be a good option. There's a lot of stuff. Scotty, have you been doing anything different with your urgency?
Definitely using Hurify less. Like Hurify used to be absolute go-to for just everything. Now I use it in select rare cases. Also haven't been using all that much like blatant urgency on the product page. What we do sometimes is have like if we have a good offer, put it in the ad. So like free shipping this weekend only, 2 for 1 this weekend only, stuff like that. I've been putting in the ad. So that's one thing that I've been doing more than I used to, putting urgency in the ad rather than the product page. That's something you can mess with. I don't put it on the checkout, but there used to be an app called Conversion Pirate that does that. It sort of, sometimes it's allowed by Shopify and sometimes it gets banned by Shopify. I'm not sure if it's allowed or banned right now, but you can definitely look into that. It's called Conversion Pirate, I believe.
Yeah, that's not even an app. That's just like a piece of code that you put in to your theme or somewhere. It's not even in the theme. I think it's like in the Google Analytics code or something. I don't even remember, but I don't think that's a thing anymore. I don't think that works right now. I don't know. I'm kind of the mindset where like I would rather focus on making my offer better and just my overall marketing better than trying to kind of game the system with some fake urgency or scarcity. If you have a good offer that people want, you don't need that stuff for it to convert.
So for like, your info product or something, I think like you could make really good offers and bundles about that. But for like, drop shipping items from China, how do you make the offer like better? Maybe discount, maybe like frequently bought together and bundles and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do, man. There's so many different things you can do with your offer. Like for example, something that I just did on one of my stores that has worked really well. This is actually on the advice of Jason Taken, was to add an ebook to the offer. So it's, it was like the offer is like 50% off plus this free ebook, or plus this ebook free, usually a $49 value or something.
You sell a t-shirt and you offer a free ebook?
It's not a t-shirt. It's a product that is revolved around foot pain. And it's an ebook kind of about like exercises and different things you can do, to help with that.
Okay. I could think of like an ebook for programmers and stuff. For my t-shirt.
You don't have to necessarily do that. You can do like, say for example, if you have like on that product, it's it comes in like a 2-pack, so there's 2 of them. I could position it as like the way I have it now is like 50% off, or it could be buy one get one free. When there's 2 of them, 50% off and buy one get one free, it's the same thing. Like ultimately it's the same price, but it's different in the way that it's presented. So you just gonna have to think about like how can you increase the perceived value of your offer, and then how can you actually increase the actual value of your offer.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of think along those lines and just see what, if you're like, just try to put yourself in your customers, your ideal, target audience, put yourself in their shoes and just think about, if I was them, what's going to be super compelling to me? What's going to be so irresistible that I'm like, wow, I have to buy this. Like, this is just, it would make less sense not to buy it,
Okay. Yeah, I think that helps. Thanks.
For sure. And then Isaac said, what are some ways that you get inspiration for increasing the value of an offer? I've been looking at competitors to boost my creativity, but keep coming back to the same few angles for my product. Well, for one, I mean, the value of your offer is kind of separate from the angle. I would say like kind of the angle and the offer are 2 separate things. One thing that I do is I look at other industries, not just at my competitors in my niche, but look at businesses in other industries, completely different from what you're doing. You can get a lot of really good inspiration from looking at things that are just completely unrelated to what you're doing. That's one way. And then another thing I like doing is looking at like old school ads, like on swipe.co, and going through and seeing their offers and how they presented stuff. Because those offers were really, really good because they had to actually spend a lot of money to test any of their offers. Before the internet, you had to send out, like when people were doing shit with direct mail, you had to send out mail to test your offer. And that was, that was expensive. That costed money. So they put a lot of work into their offers and they made their offers really good. And so I think that's another really good place. I don't know. What else? What do you kind of look for, Scotty?
Pretty much what you said. Look in those super competitive industries, skincare, weight loss, anything info product, any super competitive product. I put a bunch of examples in here of companies that are doing interesting stuff. Like the offer doesn't need to be anything super crazy. It's just like, how can you best sell something? And sometimes it's as simple as doing like 3 for a certain price, like 2 for 1. Like sometimes that just makes a lot of sense. Where buying one for like $20 doesn't seem like a great deal, but buying 2 for 30 seems like a great deal, or 2 for 25 or whatever. And depending on how you're like, oftentimes, especially when it comes to like bundles and stuff, the way I come up with the offer is in terms of what makes sense. So what increases the value to the customer a lot more than it increases the cost to me. So on one store, for example, I found that it costs me $4 to ship one product. Like product costs like $2 plus $4 to ship it. Okay. But if I want to ship 3 of the same product, then it would only cost me like an extra $2 or something like that, where shipping additional products only adds like a small percentage to the price. So then to me, I'm like, wait, so the customer's going to get 3 times as much. He's going to get 3 times as much actual physical value, not just perceived value. But he's going to get 3 times as much product that he can use. And it's only going to cost me 50% more. So he gets 3 times the value. I can charge more because he's getting more. And it only increases my cost by 50%. So that's like a big gap in like extra value versus extra cost. So that's oftentimes how I come up with bundles and sort of quantity breaks. Sometimes you can sell product A plus a supplementary product, and the supplementary product seems super cool and super unique and super valuable to the customer, but it only adds a tiny bit to your cost. And then it's just kind of a no-brainer to test adding that. Same with digital products. Like digital products can add a lot of value to the customer, and they cost you like literally $0. And yeah, I mean, other than that, just look at what super competitive, what big companies, successful companies, and super competitive markets are doing. That's a pretty good place to start.
Yes, there wasn't captured in there. Go to the snap.
Cool.
Yeah, and I posted some links in there for you guys to check out these companies. Some of these are like huge companies that are direct response based. So you can learn a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, improving your offer is one of the most impactful things you can do. Like there's very few things that are going to improve your results more than seriously improving your offer. Even if your ads are all the same, everything's the same, but your offer is just way better. Like it's just going to convert better. That's how that works.
Sweet.
All right, y'all. Well, if you got any questions, let us know. There's a couple people that we haven't heard from yet. I would love to hear from some of y'all. Even if you don't necessarily have a question, we'd love to hear how y'all are doing. I'm not gonna force anyone to talk if they don't want to, but that's what these calls are for. We want y'all to use them.
Oh yeah, I know we kind of talked about it last call, but how do you like get the ebook to be like automatic in your emails?
Just mess with the how I have it is I just mess with the order confirmation email code and Shopify and just kind of put the download link in there.
Okay. So you just go to, what is it? Or something niche.com to get the ebook?
Exclusiveniches.com. Yeah, I'll put it in here. This is just one site. I mean, there's multiple like this.
Okay. And then once you buy it, you just copy the download link.
Yeah, I mean, you probably want to reformat it because it's going to have a specific name to it, and you're going to want to brand it with your store's brand. So you want to download it and kind of mess with it. Export it as a PDF, upload it, and then give people the download link in the email.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
The lectures on the course about Facebook strategy were recorded in April 2019. Is the strategy still the same after 1 year? Updates will come. I mean, there's probably a few things that could be updated, but I mean, overall, it's the principles of it are the same. What really matters, like, it's not so much the specific strategy that you're using on Facebook. It's much more about your offer and your angle and your creative and your content, your copy. The actual kind of marketing aspects, those are way more impactful than any sort of like Facebook ads hack or strategy or anything. Scotty, what do you think? I mean, the only thing that I can really think of that might change is instead of starting with $5, $10 ad sets to start with, depending on what you're doing, you could start with like 3 $20 ad sets. But aside from that, that's really about it.
Yeah. I went through it a couple months ago, like 2 or 3 months ago, to see if there's any updates that we need to make like immediately, because obviously there's always new people going through it. And I honestly still think all the advice in there is solid. Like with Facebook ads, the thing is like there's many ways to set up your ads, especially once you get into lookalikes. Do you want to do CBO, ABO? Do you want to do what percentages of lookalikes? But the truth is like we use all these options all the time. So it's like, I think all the advice in there still works. I don't think there's anything in there where I'm like, no, wait, that worked in 2019 doesn't work now anymore. Everything that's in there still works. Having said that, we are going to make some updates and add to it in probably like a month or two. There's going to be some updates. So it's kind of yes to both. Yes, everything still works. And yes, there is also going to be updates and some new content in there as well.
Beautiful.
Is there anything in particular, Mete, that that you were wanting to ask about?
Actually, I heard CBO campaign is mandatory last September. Is it?
No, Facebook took out that. Facebook said that they were going to do that, and they kept saying that they were going to do it. They kept pushing the date back for when it was going to happen, and then eventually they just finally said, like, all right, yeah, we're not actually going to do this.
Oh, okay, that's why I wonder it. But you say start with $20 per day ad set, right? Right now, or
that's something that you
$5-10.
Yeah, it's something you can do. I'm not saying that it's like it's better that you should do that, but it's something you can do, and I think that's kind of gonna be that would be a smarter decision. Like if the product you're selling is higher priced, if the average order value is like $80 or something, $10 a day budget per ad set is not going to spend enough to see whether or not like that, like $10 a day isn't enough for an ad set to spend to know whether or not it's going to get a purchase. Because, you know, with an $80 average order value, you could have a $30 cost per purchase and, you know, still be profitable. So that's kind of the case that I would say where that might make sense. Oh God, stop, holy shit.
Okay, thanks.
Cool.
All right, sorry about that.
Okay, so I have a quick question. What do we use? What up? By the way, love the stash. Absolutely love it.
I appreciate it. That dirtbag stash.
Yeah. What metric do we use now instead of the relevance metric?
It's like it's divided into like 3 different categories now. I think those are all bullshit, to be honest with you. I think those categories are bullshit. Like when you're like, you'll have an aggressive ad that performs super well, and then it'll be like the quality ranking will be below average, but it'll still perform very well. So like I don't really put a whole lot of stock into those now, to be honest with you.
Okay, it just doesn't matter now. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, it can be a relevant score. You still have it?
Yeah.
That's lit. I wish I still had that. I do not have that anymore.
I wonder if you can force it with your presets, because I had the preset set up before. I wonder if that's why. Because if I go to like the default performance preset, I get quality rank, engagement rate, and conversion. But if I go to my set up one, I get my relevance score, my good old relevance score. I do not know why.
Yeah, overall, I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah, if you have relevance score, look at it. If you don't,
perfect
engagement rate awesome. And stuff. It's like it's so all over the place.
Cool, thank you.
No problem. I find honestly CPC and CTR, or CPM, CTR, and CPC are a pretty good measure of how good your ad is, how engaging your ad is.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else got any questions to him? We haven't heard from Matthew Kelly, Fabian, Mark.
Hey, I'll just jump in here. I'm brand new at this, guys. Been going about a week, and right in the thick of it. Yeah, right in the thick of identifying things. So really appreciate being able to listen in and learn, and looking forward to it. So
awesome, man. Awesome. Well, it's great to have you.
Yeah, Nate, I'm about 20 miles north of you, Wake Forest.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Those wonderful North Carolina areas.
That's right.
That North Carolina master race, baby. Cool. Matthew Kelly, you got anything, man? You usually got some stuff to talk about. Come on.
Nothing really, mate. To be honest, no questions.
Word. Well, it's good to hear your bright, smiling voice.
Scott, how'd you find that axis posture?
I don't know, honestly. Probably.
I just went and like threw their stuff in, and it looks like they were created really recently, and like everything seems pretty new. I didn't know if that was something you just saw an ad for or what, but yeah, I don't know. I figured it was going to be like a super established brand, and it looks like it just got made.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like anything crazy. That's one of those things where you want to learn from super established brands, and you also want to learn from shitty dropshipping stores that have no customer service and will be shut down in 3 months. Like those guys that all they know how to do is sell. Like you need to kind of take a bit from both worlds. Like those guys that all they do is run super aggressive ads and then get shut down. Learn from them, and then also learn from the company that got sold to Procter & Gamble for like 300 million. Try and combine elements from both those worlds. That's kind of what I try to do. I have no idea where I found that.
Okay.
That's a really good thing to be doing, definitely. If y'all get bored, you're like, I've finished all my stuff for the day, but I still don't want to be a lazy piece of shit for the rest of the day. I want to do something that's going to maybe help me out. Just search around and just see if you can find just like, I don't know, you can just like search Google for random products and see what kind of ads come up. And then you can go through and you pull up their Facebook ads libraries and see what kind of ads they're running and go through their funnels, and you can just see so much stuff. And it's just super interesting to me to see, what all these businesses are doing, especially the ones that are just fucking killing it. Like it's super interesting to see, and you can learn so much just from kind of observing and studying and taking notes, from people who are actually doing really well.
Yeah, so I've been doing that. Like you said, it's just an easy thing to be doing casually here and there. And once you start getting ads on your like Facebook and Instagram, it's really easy.
Yeah.
And I see products all the time that I'm like, okay, yeah, that could be good. And then I'll research them, and, there might be some legitimacy there, but I haven't let myself, I was messaging Scott about this. I really want to focus on what I'm working on right now. I haven't let myself really stray. What really makes you say like, okay, I maybe want to dedicate some hours in the next couple of weeks and, build a store and try to do this and just test and see, if I can do anything with a basic campaign?
That's a good question. I don't know if there's like a set of specific guidelines, but it's just like, if shit's just aligning and it's just like, dude, like I can't pass this up. Like people are buying this stuff. I can fucking get this up, relatively quickly. The stars seem to be aligning. It's just like, if that's the case, then I do it. If not, then what I've been trying to do is just kind of come up with ideas and then just have like store ideas and concepts just kind of like ready to go for whenever the time is right. And that way, you just constantly have ideas in the back of your pocket that you can test whenever you get some free time.
Generally, you just get super excited about an idea as well, where you're like, this is the next big thing, and usually it isn't, but that excitement kind of drives you to stay up late one night, set up the store, launch ads, and then you go from there.
Okay, because that's one thing I've realized with all this. It's really just doing it, kind of putting yourself through the motions, seeing if anything can come of it. And like I said, I DM'd you. I really don't want to let myself build a store, but there have been a couple of times where I've been like, oh my gosh, like this would be sweet. And then, you know, I'm analyzing the product on Ali, looking at other ads and seeing good things, but I don't know, it'll come.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing if you get super excited about it and it's like you're like super fucking wanted to launch it, then just do it and just like finish it. I mean, you can get everything done for a completely new store in a few hours if you really want to. And I think like if you can do that instead of taking your time and attention and focus away for a whole week, if you can get everything done in a few hours, like one night, then like fucking do it. That's kind of how I look at it.
Those are also the people that are going to be best at e-com, the people that can just execute with immense speed. That's like such a thing to look for. The people that go through the course quickly, the people that launch their store quickly, the people that just do everything with speed. Like launch something that is good quickly, and then if it works, make it better over time. But just that ability to launch and test ideas quickly is honestly probably the highest correlation to later success, in my opinion.
It's definitely like, I would agree. If not the top, like it's definitely up there. All right. Well, anyone else got any other questions? Nick says, Nate and Scott, so now you guys know what to do and how to profit in e-com already. And I think running one store and even the long term won't be too time consuming for you. Will building more stores make you richer? Yeah. I'm rereading that. Hold on. Not a profit in e-com. I think running one store. Yeah, I would say, yeah. And that's why me and Scotty got a little project we're working on together. We got a couple stores going and yeah, I think it's a balance. Like there's definitely a point where you're just trying to do way too much at one time. And at that point you just need like a fully built out team. But I think as like an individual with VAs, you could probably run like 4 might be a little bit much. I would say maybe like 3 stores at a time. Usually one of them is going to be your main focus, and that's the one that's going to be the most profitable, partly because it's your main focus and partly because maybe it's just the, you know, the one that you've been spending more time on. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the process is, you know, build stores. I mean, we're trying to do something a little bit more instead of just like churning and burning stores where, you know, you run a store, you scale it and run it for a couple months and then, you know, it dies off. You know, we're trying to make some more sustainable stuff over the long term that's going to be around for years as opposed to months. Taking some notes from the man himself, Jason Taken, on that one.
The thing about having more stores is like, yeah, more stores, more revenue, I guess, but it's also a case of like you only have so much focus. Like time is not the issue. Like we have enough time, but we don't have enough focus. And if we end up running like 10 stores or whatever, none of those stores are going to grow to do 100K a month, 500K a month, $1 million a month. Whereas if you just have one store and it's working and you pour all your energy into that store, that might like only be like 3-4 hours of work a day. Like I don't see how you can work 10 hours a day on an e-com store. Like long term, I don't see how you can do that. But if you only have 4 hours and you pour all 4 hours and all your focus into one store, that one store is just, it's going to grow more than if you only put in an hour. Like that's just a fact. If your entire day, all you're thinking about is how to make the store better, it's going to grow at a crazy rate. Because when you're lying in bed at night, you're going to have ideas for that store only. Whereas when I'm lying in bed at night, my head is all over the fucking place because I've got way more stuff on my plate. So that's how you can come in and be like, I've only got this one thing to focus on. Every minute of the day, your brain is subconsciously or consciously thinking about ways to improve it. And that's kind of how big breakthroughs tend to happen. And when you have more things on your plate, you diminish that sort of subconscious effect as well. You just don't get as many good ideas.
Well said, Scott, man. Well said. Nick said exactly. My head is full of ideas when I go to bed and when I wake up these days. Yep, that's how it should be. Alrighty. Anyone else got some questions? Going once, going twice. Drum roll, please. All right. Well, if y'all are all good, then we'll get this call wrapped up. And as always, we are in Slack. Hit us up in the Boss Builder channel. You can hit me and Scotty up directly, and we're here to help. We're here to help. We want to see you guys succeed, and yeah, let us know what we can do. It's a two-way street. You know, we can help you as much as we can. But if you guys aren't reaching out, then there's only so much we can do. So use the resources here as much as you possibly can. You guys pay good money for them, and we want you to use them. So we're here.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Scotty, you got anything else? Any words of wisdom to bestow?
I mean, yeah, if you're working from home during quarantine, like take the first hour of the day. I think this is Ben Settle, an old piece of advice from Ben Settle. It's like,
pay yourself first.
Yeah, whatever you do, the first hour of the day belongs to you. Like if you go to an office job, if you work from home, whatever you're doing, the first hour of the day needs to be invested where you're going to get the most returns. Sometimes that might mean working on something, like work in a store, work on ads. What I like to do is the first hour of the day is studying. So study direct response, study business, study marketing, study video ads, study whatever you think you need to get better at, and just spend the first day studying every single day. And then like you might have a great day, your ads might be on fire, or you might have a shit day, but like as long as you keep getting up and every day you're studying, if you learn something new, it's a good day. That's kind of the way to look at it, I think, long term at least. Like just keep getting better every single day and you'll do well long term.
I like to use the first like 30 minutes of my day. Like I don't always do this, and it's definitely sometimes like this morning it was probably more like 10 minutes, but I just like to wake up and just like not pick up my phone and just go downstairs, just get a glass of water, get some caffeine, and just like sit down and just like not do anything and just try to like, like meditate, just kind of let your brain warm up, I guess. I think that's a really good thing to do. And I need to be better about that, because I feel like the more you can do that, not even just like the first part of your day, but the more that you can just allow your brain to just breathe and not be constantly consuming content or reading. I mean, not necessarily like reading's not a big deal, but like mostly it's like, scrolling through Twitter, scrolling through Instagram, watching YouTube videos. The more you can just kind of let your brain breathe, I think the more clear you're going to think and the more ideas you're going to have. Quick, give a mindset reminder. Let's see. I would say that, really like the biggest mindset thing that I think is important is just like being aware that you're gonna face hella problems in this business. You're gonna have ad accounts that get banned. You're gonna have business managers that get banned. You're gonna have issues with shipping. You're gonna have customers that are angry at you. You're gonna have so many different problems to deal with. And if you just kind of go into it with the mindset of like, okay, it's a problem, but I solve all problems. I'm not the kind of person that just fucking gives up. If you go into it with that, then everything just becomes like, I don't know, it becomes much more simple and much less stressful, because even when these stressful problems are hitting you, you just kind of have that filter of just being like, okay, well, it's a problem and it's going to get solved. And you just kind of are able to detach yourself from the outcome, because it's going to happen. The problem's going to get solved. It's just a matter of figuring out how. There's my mindset reminder for the day.
It's a good one.
All right, y'all. Well, take it easy. Enjoy what seems to be the last part of quarantine over these next few weeks. I guess it depends on where you are, but stuff's starting to open up around here in little phases, and should be nice. Hope y'all get out to the bar as soon as you can. I know I will be. All right, y'all.
Have a good one, guys.
Yeah.
Peace out.
And stuff.